Hey guys, and welcome back to some more Factorio sending supporters to space. And we're up here by the nuclear because we are going to expand it. And I also want to mess around with this system a little bit. So there were some suggestions in one of the recent videos for doing a little bit of smart stuff here, which I know I'm probably the last guy who should be doing this, but we're gonna try it. So people said, like, isn't this thing going to mess up this guy taking from stuff? And that is a good point. He could. Currently this is backed up, so he's not working anyway, but something that could be a fun experiment anyway is, they said, experimenting with hooking up this guy with one of the belts. And I think that's a very interesting idea. So if we hook this guy up to, say, this belt, actually I'm thinking that may counteract what I want to do. I'm not sure how we're going to do that. Because this won't... I was going to have it, like, say, if there's a certain amount on here that this thing... Oh, no. That is what I want. Sorry, I was thinking backwards. So if we go to here, and we hook this up, and we say, read belt contents, enable, turn this on, entity on. Okay, so we want that. So it's just going to read the belt contents. But then what we're going to do is we're going to enable disable, and we're going to say, hopefully this should work. I'm going to say if... So I'm essentially telling this thing it can only work if this good uranium is more than, like, say... if we look, and I was talking to V, Dev, a little while ago. I can't talk. And he was mentioning hooking up, like, circuit conditions to belts, and he said at one point that, like, the max items one single piece of belt can have, I think, is 8 or 6 maybe. But I'm gonna say if there's more than, let's just say, 4 pieces on here. So if it backs up and it becomes more than 4 pieces on this particular belt, it's going to allow this to work, which essentially means that it's backed up to the point where this guy doesn't need any. So this will prevent this from stealing any off of him, right? So once this belt gets 4 pieces or more on it, it'll allow this to work, and then once it gets below that, it will stop working, and it should let this guy go. Hopefully this, the condition so far seems to be okay, and it looks like there's, what, maybe 2 pieces on here? It's a little hard to tell. Yeah, so there's that. Now, I've also made a nuclear reactor, again, a vanilla one. Even if I wanted to, there's no way in hell I can afford these advanced ones. They're very expensive, which makes sense. I'm broke. We don't have any materials. And then I made some heat exchangers, some heat pipes, and some turbines. I don't think we actually have enough to complete the setup we would need because of the neighbor bonuses. Now this actually could be an issue, because it's never going to have 4 because it's not a double-sided belt. So if I say if there's more than 2, yeah, that doesn't work. That definitely doesn't work. Hold. Pulse. Hold. Okay, that works. I think I needed the hold. And it says there's only 1 on here. When this one comes down, we'll see if this guy works. Yeah, and then when this one goes... Okay, that makes sense. That'll work. So he'll insert some, once in a while. And we have this system going. So how is our power doing? Now that I've shut off research, I did finish the bullet damage 7. So that's good. If we actually look at our bonuses, we have shooting speed plus 50%, damage 160%. Robots are 305% movement speed. 3 cargo, I think. Isn't there an extra cargo I can get? Or maybe not. Maybe I did get cargo. That's all there is. Okay. Let's see. What else do we have? Braking force. Mining productivity, 14%. Some inserter stuff. We don't have the full stack size bonus yet. Research speed, 190%. But then also, let's take a look at our achievements. See what we've done and what we still have to do. So we've done... I have a train, plan a path 1,000 tiles or longer. Nice. We've actually knocked out a fair bit of these. 1K per hour, 20k plates per hour. It's worth waiting. Research all technologies. This one we're fairly close. Supply the player with 10k atoms delivered by logistics robot. This one we're almost very, very close. 1 million circuits. 25k advanced circuits we're fairly close. Slightly over halfway for 5k blue circuits. And yeah, not even close to that. But we will get there. So and then those disabled ones are ones I just can't do because I already, you know, messed them up, like the lazy bastard and stuff. So let's expand our nuclear. Now, if I add this on here, what this is going to do is this is essentially going to give us an effective 4 reactors because they each are going to get a 100% neighbor bonus once I actually give him fuel, which means that they're, because 100%, and this is worth explaining for anyone who doesn't know. Again, I made a tutorial specifically on this, so I'm not going to go over like super details. But the bonus that these reactors get is on top of just their innate ability, essentially. So this has a 100% neighbor bonus, which means it's itself, and then a 100% bonus. So this is effectively 2 reactors. And then this one is also effectively 2 reactors. And the heat is transferring in between them. You actually don't need to connect these 2 with heat pipes because the heat will transfer between them. In fact, I don't even have to connect the heat pipe from this guy to any other heat exchanger setups. Because they're transferring heat, I could run just off of this heat pipe or off of another heat pipe of this reactor. So we essentially have 4 reactors worth here. I do not have enough materials to actually build out this to be equivalent to the 4 reactors because this is expensive. I like purged all our belts just trying to build this stuff. I hadn't really played with nuclear outside of a creative world before until now, and this stuff is expensive until you really get your base going. Like, it really is, which is good, right? I mean, it's a leaking power generation. So I'm looking here, I'm wondering what we want to do. We could just mirror this, and our heat pipe should be able to support this theoretically. And then this guy should also, in fact, so that's 4, 8. I wonder if a heat pipe can support more than this. I had all these numbers worked out in the video, but I don't remember them off the top of my head. Actually, I may not have even worked out the heat pipe thing, because they've made changes to heat pipes as well. There is a max length. I don't know if there's a max heat transference. Like, I know there's a max heat transference over a certain length, but what I'm wondering is, could I, like, stack these farther? I don't know. I mean that would be a good question. This is gonna kill everything, but that's okay. So if we do this, I'm wondering, like, if our heat pipe can actually transfer heat this far effectively, or if it's just gonna break. And I guess we'll find out. This is gonna break right about now because we don't have any steam. Oh man, we're right on the verge, guys. Good thing I turned off research. Okay, so there's that. Let's tear this up just because it will help clean things up. Again, that's all the materials I have enough for. Now, it's easier to figure out ratios when you do them in sets of 4. You notice that I actually did slightly more than that. I have 4, 8. Well, I guess it is another set of 4. So 12. And each one of these can support about 1.7 turbines. So if I do the math, there's probably an easier way to do this math. But, you know, I'm old-fashioned when it comes to this type of stuff. So if we take 12 times 1.7, I think it's like 7.2, not that it matters, 20. So I could go like 21 or 22 turbines. We actually have exactly 21. Hey, that's pretty good. I actually didn't plan that out. Okay, so water is going to need to come into here. And of course, this will stop our heat pipe from going any further at this point. But once we need that, we would probably build a whole new setup. And I'm going to try to make this a little bit cleaner. So I'm going to move this. Because the other one was like really just haphazard, like place down, I need power now type of thing. Whereas this one, I'm going to try to make slightly cleaned up. So there's our water. Now our steam, and it looks like this guy is doing good. So our steam then is going to come out these ends. Now once I go for a really big build, you know, for like gigawatts worth of power, and where we do need UPS, game efficiency, game performance efficiency, I'm actually going to try to do that, the type of build I'm about to mention. I'm going to try to do that here just for demonstration. So there's several things in the game. This would be, I guess, a good time to go over some of the things that hurt your game performance. Belts right now are the top one, pretty much, right? Belts are like the worst thing right now, to my knowledge, that impact game performance, right? After that, it's kind of, I think after that, it's maybe robots, like on a mass scale, though. Like on a mass scale, they start to. But pipes also are up there. Once you start getting a large number of pipes, it does impact performance. Now, of course, nuclear, again, has the other entities that it has to keep track of, you know, whereas solar does not. But if we just set that aside for a minute, the pipes, you know, in a huge nuclear build, you know, say like a 10 gigawatt nuclear build, if you're piping, if you're doing like I was doing, right, if you're running steam out pipes like this for, you know, like a 4,000 turbine system, it is going to impact performance by a noticeable amount. It really will. And it's been tested. Can and Hopewell and even I have tested it. And when you have pipes on that scale, it impacts performance. So once we do go on that scale, not only are we going to use Hope's advanced nuclear, we're also going to do this. Of course, my pump's in the way, but we're going to do this because what this does, it's pretty much our steam engine setup. What this does is this eliminates the pipes. The only pipes then that you have are the actual water pipes, which you pretty much need. Well, depending how you do it, I probably will try to find a way to do it to have the pumps almost directly to the heat exchangers. And then also the heat exchangers themselves count as at least one, maybe two pipes, essentially, because they have the water transfer and then also the steam. So these kind of count-ish, I believe, as like one or two pipes, which obviously can't help because you need heat exchangers. Yeah, so that's kind of the plan. I did want to explain that just for your reference, why, you know, in case you're wondering why I am doing it this way. And then also, you know, if you didn't know that. So this guy, let's see here. I can actually do a little bit of landfill. I'm hoping that I could put a pump there, which I can indeed. I wonder, can this run any farther? Sweet. All right, so there's that. There's that guy, and then these. I may need to make another turbine just so it's symmetrical. And then two of them will not work fully, right? Because this is the number I came out to, the amount of heat exchangers times 1.72 was like 20.64 or something. So 21, even that last one wouldn't work fully. But then also, if I go 22 just for symmetry, the others won't really work fully either. But that's okay. They'll work to some degree. And it doesn't really hurt anything. It hurts game performance. But again, at this stage, it's not that big of a deal. So I actually need 3. Did I overshoot this? It's 21. Interesting. Actually, they won't all work fully. And I'll explain that in a minute. Because the heat exchanger ratio, again, is 1 heat exchanger to 1.72-ish turbines. So when you build them in the manner I just did, essentially, you know, your second one on that line, your second one in that row, is going to never work fully because you have 2 of them when a heat exchanger can really only support 1.7. So that's kind of how that's going to work. It's not bad. I mean, it doesn't actually hurt anything to have it that way. It just is something to point out in case you're building your own setup like this, or you were wondering once I turn this on why these end ones aren't ever working fully, and that's why. So let's just finish this guy out. And again, this is not actually, we essentially, like I said, we have the equivalent of 4 reactors. Each reactor can support 4 heat exchangers. So we actually would need 16 heat exchangers for a full setup, and I just didn't have the materials to make that many at the moment. Hey, there we go. Achievement on screen, 1 million green circuits. Woohoo! That's gonna be nothing. That's gonna be 5 minutes. You heard me right, and I'm not just pulling that out of a hat. It is going to be 5 minutes or less production once we get our Gigabase going. We will be producing 1 million circuits every 5 minutes. Now this is where we encounter some problems that I had not considered. Luckily, see, handy dandy substations, they are good for a couple things. Even Shred Guy has started using them. Okay, so there we go. So if we look at this, these guys are full, and these guys have a full available performance, but that's only because we're not drawing a full load. If we were drawing a full load, you would see that these would not actually be performing fully. So that should hold us for a while, because this is, you know, I have however many of these? 22. They're not all going to work fully. Let's just base it off 20, because we know that 20 will work fully. Times 5.8. I mean, this alone is like 115 megawatts of power plus our steam power. So this should hold us for a while. This looks absolutely wonderful at night. This guy is working, it seems. And I'm going to go check on our resources. If we're doing okay, I would like to research the ability to recycle the used up fuel cells, because we do have we have a lot of them, actually. Red circuits look like they're hurting a bit still. Like I said, I pretty much purged the entire belt for that nuclear reactor. Yeah, we have 100 empty fuel cells. So this is kind of catching up, but this actually is not that actually, it is expensive, but they do not require high tech, so that should not affect that whatsoever, which is great. So there's that. We are pretty much ready for another rocket if I just transfer the rocket fuel over. We are making more of these, which is fine. I probably could shut these off soon, because I think we mainly launch one more rocket, maybe two, I don't know. We also have 750 frames, which should be good. Our mega smelter does not even take that many. And I was mentioning last episode, if you remember, how we spent so much focus and so much time on the optimization of it. And part of that is the robot usage. For the amount that it smelts, it's actually, at least in my mind, quite impressive how few robots it uses. And our robot calculations are based on robot speed 6. Part of why I got robot speed 6, but also with each new robot speed, the amount of robots we'll need for the smelter will actually reduce as well. So pretty much when we build it, that's going to be the max amount it'll ever use, and then it will just go down from there, which means better performance, so on and so forth. It should be really good. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. We're at 18 minutes. Can I do something in like 2 minutes that's not going to kill my resources? I'd like to make some of these guys. They're kind of expensive. Actually, they're really expensive, because these require, well, it's only 50 red circuits. It's really not that much, and I have 100 and something. I get 50 from these needing 10 and this needing 5 of those. Do not need 100 processing units, which is quite a few red circuits. But could I walk? That'd be great. I think I'll grab some anyway. Okay, so there's that. I'm gonna make 2 of these. So there's that, and then these we need batteries. I'm gonna have to go yoink the batteries off of the high-tech section. And the robot frame section actually would work as well. I would prefer to not grab speed modules. Are you kidding me, man? Things take so many batteries, this is ridiculous. I wonder if I dumped batteries in the network. I could request them, because that's what's holding us up here. Come on, dude. There's one. Oh, jeez. Okay, yeah. Let me see. We can actually search. So if you hit L, you go here and you search battery. Or 23 batteries. I might as well request them. They're not doing me. Come on, keys. They're not doing me any good in the network at the moment. So I'll just request like 50. Along with this, I could make some more robots. Let's do that. Don't really want to make some circuits, so... Okay, let's grab a few circuits here. 18 and then 25. So that should give us 50 robots. Each one of these Mark II guys can support 25. So once I get another Mark II, we should be good. For now, I can leave 2 of my Mark I's in, or 3. These Mark IIs take a lot of power. This is why I need like a separate suit, because I can't power all these Exos, I don't think, and everything else. But what I can do is replace this, and my range at this point should be quite large. Move, tree. Not bad. It's not like Colonel Will size yet. We will get there, though. It's better than it was, that's for sure. And 50 robots should speed up the process immensely. Yeah, the real question will be if we can actually support this amount of power. We'll have to see. So these guys will crank back on, which should be okay for now. Red circuits are catching up-ish. You can see we are doing this. I'm seeing if guys are not behind. Once this research finishes, I'm going to bump this count up to about 150. And then, actually, interesting. It's actually red and greens that are holding us up, surprisingly. I think I'm going to upgrade some of these. No, maybe. Could upgrade a couple, I suppose. The first 3, maybe. I don't know. That should help a little bit. Anyway, guys, I think that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Expanding our nuclear was a pretty good thing. That should help us be ready for the Mega Smelter. And I'm going to bump up the furnace request, and then I'm going to stream tomorrow and hopefully get some more rail stuff done and let stuff build up. And if we're lucky, within the next episode or 2, we will be almost ready to import the Mega Smelter. The main hurdle is going to be getting the modules for it. We have pretty much everything else we need for it once I bump the furnace amount up. But yeah, so that's something to look forward to. As always, I'd love to hear your thoughts in regards to anything that we've done here down in the comments. And if you did enjoy, feel free to leave a like. But until next time, I look forward to seeing you all, and do take care.